In today's lesson, we'll code the first two tasks of scrambling a word. We'll choose a random letter and we'll remove it from the word we want scrambled. In order to do this, you'll need to use Java's random number generator and a couple new string methods, length and substring. Hi, I'm Annette Gotland. I'm the author of the Do-It-Yourself Java Games books. I teach Java programming through creating games. Welcome to the video version of my books. We're currently in the Text Games video series, TG, the first of 4 types of games series. The focus of this series is to cover the fundamentals of Java programming. No previous programming experience is required. You'll learn how, when, and why Java programs are written the way they are. This series has 16 projects. We're currently working on the 12th project, TG12, Word Scramble. Word Scramble will scramble the letters of a list of words for others to try and unscramble, like this. This is lesson TG12.2, where you'll learn to use strings, length, and substring methods. In the last lesson, we added comments to our Scramble project documenting the 4 steps to scramble a word. The first step is to pick a random letter from the original string. Let's start by creating a random number generator like you did in lesson TG9.2, Guess My Number, Generate Random Numbers. Exercise 1. Create a random number generator. Pause the video if you need more time in any of these exercises. If you want to see how I would complete any of the listings, please refer to the completed listings at the end of this video. In Scramble, create a random number generator named rand. Hint: remember, when a variable type, like random, gets a syntax error that it cannot be resolved to a type, you must import its class. You can easily do this in Eclipse by resting your cursor on the variable type in error and use Quick Fix to add the appropriate import statement. For Java's random class, you need to import java.util.random. I'll not be reminding you to do this every time you get the syntax error that a variable type cannot be resolved to a type. Hint: once you fix that error, you'll get a warning that rand is never used. We'll use it in exercise 2. In order for the random number generator to pick a letter from a string, it needs to know how long the word is. String has a method named length that returns the number of characters in the string. For example, to find the length of a string named name, use name.length. Do you remember how to generate a random number using a random variable? Use random's nextInt method to pick a random number less than the number passed in as the parameter. Exercise 2. Pick a random position in the original word. Add code to pick a random number less than the length of word. You'll need to use 2 different versions of string's substring method in this lesson. Substring with 1 parameter and substring with 2 parameters. Substring begin index returns a string of the characters from begin index to the end of the string. Substring begin index end index returns a string of the characters from begin index to end index, but doesn't include the character at end index. The characters in a string are numbered starting at 0. For example, the string Hello World has 11 characters numbered 0 through 10 like this. So the index of the last character is 1 less than the length of the string. If your code had a variable named greeting with a value of Hello World, greeting.length would return 11. Greeting.substring6 would return the rest of the string starting at position 6, so it would return world. Greeting.substring 0, 7 would return the string from 0 up to position 7, but not including 7, so it would return hello W. And greeting substring 4, 5 would return a string from 4 up to position 5, but not including 5, so it would return just the letter O. Index was set to a random number greater than or equal to 0 and less than the length of word. Let's complete the first step in scrambling the word. We'll get the letter in word at the randomly selected index. Exercise 3. Get the letter at index. Use the substring method to get one letter at index. Hint: follow the preceding example that returned only one letter. Run it. What happened? It should still have just printed a blank line, since the printed variable, scrambled, is still just an empty string. You'll get a warning that letter is never used. You can ignore that for now. We'll use letter in the next video when we complete step 3 by adding that letter to a new word. The comment for step 2 says to remove that letter from the original word. Unfortunately, there's no string method that removes a character from a given position. Instead, you'll have to write the code to remove that character yourself. Hint: use both versions of Substring with the different number of parameters. Exercise 4. Remove the letter from the original word. Create a string of the text before the character. Create another string of the text after the character. Then join the two strings together. Run it. What happened? It should still have just printed a blank line. Key points and more. Strings length and substring methods. Use strings length method to find the length of a string. Use strings substring method to get part of a string. The characters in a string are indexed starting at 0 for the first character. Therefore, the index of the last character of a string is one less than the length of the string. If you pass only one integer parameter into substring, it will return the portion of the string starting at that index through the end of the string. If you pass two integer parameters into substring, it will return the portion of the string from the first index to the second index, but it won't include the character at the second index. Begin and end index must be integers less than the length of the string, and begin index must be less than end index. Here are the completed listings for all the exercises in this video. This is the end of the second lesson in the Word Scramble project. Your code should have removed a random letter from the word to be scrambled. However, you cannot know for sure if that step is working as expected, since it only prints a blank line. In the next lesson, I'll introduce printing to the console so you can see what is happening to variables that you don't plan for the user to see in the DIY window. This will allow you to see exactly what is happening as you finish scrambling the word.